Hi, Eric Gimbal, ericgimbal.com, and today I receive you in a small village close to the city where I was born. It's called Manfrotto, and the city where I was born is Fontenay-le-Comte in Vendée, in the west of France. And the video is about that very often we drive kilometers to make pictures of a place, and then we don't actually make everything we could make, or we don't see many things. So I'm going to make like a dozen pictures in front of you to show you all kind of, not every kind, but many kind of picture we can make staying at the same spot. So let's start. So I'm going to make the pictures with my Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II with a 12-40 2.8 lens on it. Just this lens I'm going to use, and I'm going to move around with that. The equivalent of 12-40, if you want to know, for full frame would be like 24-80. So you have a reference to if you want to make the same situation. So let's start then. So for this picture I'm going to be on 12mm to have a wide angle, and I'm going to close the aperture to get better depth of field. We'll be on 5.6. To have on this will be like the equivalent full frame of f11. So I want some depth of field to have everything in focus. So here we go. So now let's move to somewhere else. So now I want to make a picture of this small path. When you have a place like this, when you have light and shadows and this, you need to try to know how your camera is seeing the situation, the scene, okay? So there's one way is close your eyes like this, like Chinese. I don't say Chinese see this way, so I don't want to offend anyone, but if you close your eyes like this, you will see, like when you look at it, if there's some part you just see just black, it means your camera will not see the details there. You should configure your camera to pick up as much as you can in the shadows and get the highlight without burning them. So if it was really contrasty, you could not do that without doing an HDR or putting a flash. But in a wood like this, you cannot put a flash, obviously. So one way would be an HDR. But in this situation, the light is sideways. I do get information in the shadows, so it's fine. So I'm going to make the picture. So right now I'm at f4. I don't want to have everything in focus. And actually, if you make the exposure for the dark parts, that will be fine. If you make it for the lights, the highlights, what will happen is that you will get really dark shadows. So as you can, I work in RAW, I can get back my highlights. I calculated to make sure I can get them back. So we'll have all the information on the picture. So let's carry on. So now I've just moved 1 meter. There's a flower here. I mean, it's past, but I can't remember the name of this flower. That dragon. I can't remember the name. It's yellow, and then it becomes like white fluffy. Yeah, well, you'll see the picture, and probably in comment you will put it. And I'm going to picture. The Olympus let me focus from 20 centimeters. So even without having a macro lens, I can actually do the picture. When you're so close, it's better to make a manual focus. It's in the shadows, in the shade, so we'll have some light spot in the back. I'm going to have exposed a bit the flower and get the back the right way. I'm going to expose properly the flower and get some light, some kind of lighting in the back to see the effect, the way the bokeh is with this lens. It's so short that you cannot get everything in focus actually. So now we have the typical problem, which is a path. That's nice. But then there is a lot of light on the lake. To get this right, it's almost impossible. So I have to decide what's important, the track or the sky. If I put the track okay, the sky will be burnt. If I put the sky okay, then the track will be so dark you cannot see anything. So one option is try to find a balance, which is almost impossible. If you put your eyes like this, as I explained before, you really see the many parts of the track are dark, so that's a bit of a problem. So there's a plan B, which is doing a black and white picture, because a burnt sky in black and white is still gray, so it's fine unless there were many clouds or whatever, they can maybe notice it. So I'm going to try. So as you can see here, my Olympus tells me when it's burnt, it goes orange. So if I put the track fine, I'm burning the sky, okay? And if I put the sky fine, Okay, no orange. Then I also have some blue here, as you can see blue here, that warns me that it's too dark. So I'm going to try to equilibrate and make one of each and one I think for black and white. Let's go for it. So the first one, I've got a small orange warning on one cloud, but I do it like this. Okay, now I'm going to expose for the track to have it a bit better. Okay, and I'm going now to do something that more or less both of them, you know, so not much difference. And I'll try to balance in when I edit the picture. So while making picture, we can also do some texture. So here I've got a tree trunk. So it's important that to get all the details, you have a side lighting. I'm going to expose as high as I can, limit of burning. This way I get all the details, and then when editing the picture, I will get the highlights back. So I'm going for it. Okay, I'm at the limit. 2.8 of short depth of field, will give some volumes. Okay, here I am. I got my picture. So the following picture, we're going to make the branches against the sun. So it's going to be really contrasty. It's impossible to expose both. Okay, or you decide for the sun or you decide for the branches. Actually, that kind of picture doesn't matter if you don't see details in the branches, because the idea is to do something really dark. Actually, it's a picture that works really well in black and white. I'm going to move a bit so you have a look at what I'm doing. And first, when you point at the sun, you normally get flare. So move your camera or remove the filter if it's a filter that's provoking flare. And I make two pictures, one with a really dark, I've got a warning, underexposure warning in all the branches, okay? And I'm getting another one that's a bit more light. I've got a warning obviously on the sun, okay? And this way you get a really contrasty picture, okay? But obviously this is more artistic. It's not. I'm not doing botanic here. Now we're going to do the same exercise, but with the light in favor. So I'm going to get the green leaves against the sky. In this situation, you can expose both properly. Anyway, I'm going to bring the lights to the limit of highlights. So then I will have all the information, and then I will be able to get them back when editing. So I don't. This tree is not especially nice, but I'm making the picture anyway. Okay. So here you are. So now, very often when we make a picture, we don't know what we're going to use, what is going to be for. If it's just for Facebook, if it's for web page, if we're going to print it, whatever. So I always advise to make a vertical, horizontal, and different framing. So first I'm going to do horizontal framing, and then we'll do vertical framing. And also always try to have one that can leave some space around to crop a square or whatever, because you don't know what you're going to use the picture for. So when I do landscape, I always want to have a first part, will be the branches here and a part of the side. I'm not getting the track in there, I'm just getting there down there. I'm going to make sure the clouds are not burnt. Okay, I made the picture. Okay. And then I can actually frame differently, give more importance to the branches or to the river or whatever. Okay, and now I'm going to do a vertical one without touching the zoom, so the proportion will be the same. Okay, sometimes I have to slightly adjust the zoom, but normally not. First one, I'll make it with the top of the trees on the last third. I like to compose in thirds, so I put it on the highest part. Okay, and then another one where I frame different also, so this way I get more tree and different framing. Okay, so from one place I'll make 3-4 pictures. Well, I'll make 2 or 3 here now, but unless you work in an analog picture and you want a film picture, a film camera, you don't maybe want to spend too much on films. But when you're digital, it takes you half a second more to have something completely different. And it gives you more possibility when you're going to publish after. So while we're shooting, very often we forget to use the details we find. And just found this 71 number, so this number 71, and I think it would be nice to make a picture maybe one day to illustrate something, or I don't need it, or just think it's nice or not nice, but not especially nice, but I've got it here, so why not take the picture? Maybe I'll use it one day. So I'll get here, I make the picture, and the thing is it's quite high, so I'm going to it's going to change the perspective. So in this case, instead of looking in your viewer, I advise you check with your screen, so you have it at the same level. So when you see something like this, just use it. You never know when you're going to use it actually, okay? So now I'm exposing for the sky, so it's why I'm a bit dark. Very often we're looking at the floor, at the landscape, and we forget to look at the cloud just above us. So I think it's nice to pick right now. I expose for the cloud. Normally there is no problem with shadows, just highlights. So I make a picture. And then if I want, I make a vertical one too, it will be a bit different. If you see several clouds that you like, well, you can make several cloud of the pictures. But this is something you cannot forget, because there are very often clouds that you may use later or for whatever. So very often we are making a picture of the place, and we see something like this is human also, but it can give some depth to my picture. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to have it an horizontal and vertical. Make sure that as I've got the sun in my back, I have to make sure that my shadow doesn't appear on the floor or in my picture. I have to frame it properly. So the good thing of this is going to give some depth to my picture. First, I'm going to do that 2.8, so the background won't be perfectly sharp. Okay. And the second one, I'm going to do a f8. I could do it even f11 if I wanted. So I've got more everything in focus. With that kind of picture, I prefer to have everything in focus, okay? And then, when this is done, then I can go for vertical version. Okay, that's it. So I've actually used what I found. So here we are, we've made the 12 pictures together, and well, I made them, but it's as if you were doing them. Of course, I'm not the best picture, because it's very hard to make picture and speak and explain at the same time, but I wanted you to see the philosophy of the way of acting when you actually go to a place, a location, and make pictures, to observe, to check, to look. And don't forget vertical, horizontal, color, black and white. And I could have made many more pictures. Actually, I'd used only one lens. If I had a longer tele with me, there were some ducks in the water. If I had used my macro, I could make different textures, different macro things. But the idea I wanted you to see about the attitude when you get somewhere, the way to look, and to catch things you see around. So if you're using prime lens, when you want to change framing, you have to move yourself. Your legs are the zoom, and if you have a zoom lens, you actually touch the zoom, but just take care with moving the zoom. And not changing place, is that it may change the perspective, so that may affect the way your image looks. So observe what you're doing. That is an important point. That was basically the idea. So I hope it's been useful to you. If you think it may be useful to someone else, you can actually share this video on your social network. There's a button down there to share. And if you have not done yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There is a button here and also a small bell. If you click on it, you will get a notification when I upload a new video. My website, ericgimbal.com. If you have any question, leave a comment or send me an email to info@ericgimbal.com. And below in the description, I'll also put links to other parts of my channel and also a link of the gear I use. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.